Okay, so I'm going to add some controls to this script next. And in order to do that, I'm going to need to add some instructions for how to move left and move right. So we're just going to focus on the horizontal movement in this one and then test it once I've completed that. So first thing I'm going to need to set up is a speed value. So I need a variable that I can pop into my script. So I'm just going to add in a little bit of blank space inside the opening curly brace, and I'm just going to pop in a public variable, and I'm going to give it a data type of float. That will enable me to specify a decimal value, which will allow me to fine tune that value more so than a whole number. So then I'm going to give it a name. This is going to be my speed for the movement, so I'm just going to call it speed. And then I'm going to set an initial value for it of 5. Now, if we are doing a float value, I'm going to pop at 5.0, and just to make sure that Unity and Visual Studio understand that this is a float value, I need to finish that off with an F. Now, when I've finished a line of my code, I need to press the semicolon. That is now a complete line of code to declare my speed variable. So I have the name of speed, it has a value of 5, it is a float value, and it is public. So this can be affected by other objects, other scripts in the game if I need it to be. So then I'm going to go into my update method, because my movement is something that can happen at any point during the game. And I'm going to declare another variable, okay, that is going to specifically be linked to the movement. I'm going to give this one a float value. So this is again going to be a decimal. I'm going to call it horizontal input. Notice that I'm using camel case there, so I'm using a capital letter at the start of each new word. So I've got horizontal, then capital I for input. This is going to help me to track all of my variables and constants. And I'm going to say that equals, and I'm then going to tell Unity to go and get the input from my horizontal axis. So I'm going to basically say input. So that tells Unity to go and get an input from something. And I'm going to tell it to get the axis called horizontal. So in order to set my horizontal input, it's going to look at the input from the horizontal axis. So basically what that means is that my script will get the input from horizontal movement from either A or D keys, or the left or right arrow keys. So that effectively does 4 things all at once. It takes the A key, the D key, the left and the right arrow key, and it says go and get whatever is input off those and use it for something that I'm calling horizontal input. Okay, so next I need to tell Unity to go and do something with that horizontal input. So on a new line, I'm going to say to transform, so to change something, dot translate, and I'm going to transform this into a translation, a movement based on a vector 2. Vector 2 is an X and Y value. I'm going to say dot right because that's a horizontal movement. I'm going to then multiply that by the speed that I set up before. So I'll multiply it by 5 initially. I'm going to multiply it by the horizontal input. There. That'll take a positive or a negative value from the left or the right keys. So the A and the left key will do a positive or negative, and the right keys will do the opposite, so that it can translate that into a left and right movement on the screen. And then finally, I'm going to multiply this by time dot time. What that will do is that will take the time that has passed since starting this game, and it will sync that with the clock speed of the computer that you're playing on, so there shouldn't be any lag. My line with a semicolon. Okay, so that is some script in there for left and right movement. What we can do now is we can save that, Control and S, or click on the save button. We can then go back into Unity. Unity will perhaps take a moment to update because we've saved some changes to the script. And once it's caught up, you can then press the play button. We should now see Buggy has hit the floor, and then on pressing left or right arrows, the D or the A keys, we should see our character moving along the platform that we have on the screen. Okay, if that's successful, then the next thing that we'll need to do is add in some jumping.